Right? I live in the Gulf. These are only suggestions. Right? Make of them what you will. We need to methodically and thoughtfully develop a discourse that is in communication with the other, with our neighbors in this global society, and not ourselves only. We need to be consciously aware of the paradigms and ideas that we employ in our language or that are in play in the context of our intellectual conversations. Right? The ideas that we use, the vocabulary that we use. Many of the words that we speak of have a point where they started in history. State, citizen, and so on and so forth. Okay? Progress, advancement. Okay? These go back to Herbert Spencer or other, right, post-Enlightenment philosophers. So as we use these words, we should know where they come from before we speak and where they fit in this whole constellation that we have discussed. We need to recognize a distribution of responsibilities in our community work. We have to realize that, as the Prophet said, alayhi salam, kullun ala thagrin min al-thaghur. Everyone is covering a gap, right, in either a mountain pass, right, a mountain range, or the battle lines, right? Just like having their finger in the hole in a dike. If you're in the Netherlands, everyone is covering a gap. Everyone is fulfilling an important role. If they were to give that up, then the entire community, right, would be makshuf, or vulnerable, we could say. We have to show respect for the particular calling in which people are serving and recognize the significance of that contribution and how all of these different roles that are being played by all of these different individuals and groups and service providers in our community are creating a whole that is in concert one with another. We must recognize that a variety of roles and callings must work in concert with one another, right? Such as, at one level, theologians and public intellectuals. But then there is the importance of community leaders and elders. There is a role to be played by NGO leaders and civil society leaders, and still another role for academics and other specialists who put their expertise to the service of Islam. As the Prophet and his companion Abu Bakr are fleeing from Mecca to Medina on the Hijrah, fleeing for their lives, right? Fleeing from an overwhelming force. They are overtaken by the tracker of the Arabs, Suraqah ibn Malik. He doesn't have a problem with the Prophet Muhammad. In fact, he doesn't know him and he doesn't care. All he wants is those 100 camels, which is the price for the head of this man who the Quraysh is after. But as he draws near to those two silhouettes on the horizon, he finds that the desert is doing things that it has never done before, and he knows the desert better than anyone in the peninsula. Right? His horse is sinking into the sand as he gets closer to them. He pulls it out and he moves forward, and every time he gets close to the group, his horse is sinking into the sand, and the desert storm is coming in. The storm is coming up, and he realizes that this man is being protected by a force greater than himself. He comes to the realization that he's going to have to let him go, and he's going to have to forfeit those 100 camels. But at the same time, he's interested. He's inquisitive. He wants to know, and he calls out and he says, "Allow me to approach." Right? I'm not going to do anything. You're safe. Right? I've given up what I'm after. But allow me to approach. I wish to have some words with you. And the Prophet allows him to come near. And they have their conversation. And at the end of this conversation, the Prophet says to Suraqah, at this moment of weakness, fleeing for his life, right? From an overwhelming force that he can't stop, right? He says, "What do you think, Suraqah, of a day that will come when you will wear the bracelets of Kisra, the bracelets of the ruler of Persia? How is it that in this moment of chaos, in this moment of uncertainty, in this moment of weakness of the Muslim community itself, right? In this moment of confusion when it doesn't even have a base of operation and it's strewn out between a people who they don't know and a people who are oppressing them, and punishing them, right? He's able to make this claim. He's able to see on the horizons, right, a time that will come when things will be proper again, there will be order, right? And if this community can realize its roots, to realize its identity, and rise up to this calling, to be a steward in the earth, to augment and increase the good in the world, the quality of life of all those that are around us, then there will be better days to come. And things will come back to their senses. Right? But we have to be able to have vision. Right? And you can't have that vision unless you're familiar with your roots. Right? And you have to see where your branches are aspiring. Right? You have to see those stars that guide you in the night. And when you can do that, you can chart a course to get there. And we can do that. I thank you all very much for listening. And I wish that Allah bless you. Right? I thank everyone for coming. Right? And I hope that you'll say a small prayer for me. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.